Well, hello, friends. I'm Dr. Cecil Cockerham. We're going to share a thought about the sin nature. Teaching falls apart when you read Romans 6 through 8 in context. Let me repeat this right at the very beginning. The sin nature teaching falls apart when you read Romans 6 through 8 in context. Most people read Romans 6, 7, and 8 and walk away thinking the Christian life, well, it's just not what we think it is. The Christian life is that it's a constant battle between two natures. Is it? Really? But Romans 6, 7, and 8 are not about two identities fighting inside of you. They're not about two identities fighting inside of you. They're about two different sources of living. Romans 6 tells you what actually changed. Paul says your old man was crucified. Was is a past tense verb. You died to sin. You're no longer a slave. So right away, that tells you something that's very important because the old you is not still living, fighting you. The old you is not still alive, fighting you. Then we go to Romans 7, and this is where most people get so confused because Paul starts describing this intense struggle. He says, I do what I don't want to do. I can't do what I want to do. Now people read that and think, that's me. That's my identity. That's just the Christian life. Is that true? Let's clarify it here. But Paul just told us in Romans 6 that we're no longer enslaved. We're no longer enslaved in Romans 6. So Romans 7 can't be your identity. Romans can't be your identity there. Romans 7 is what happens when you try to live from yourself and from the law. Let me stick that again. Romans 7 is what happens when you try to live from yourself and from the law. When you know what's right, but you're still trying to produce it through effort, through striving, through self effort, that's why it sounds like frustration, because self cannot produce the life of God. Let me say it again. The self cannot produce the efforts of God because the self cannot produce the efforts life from God. Then Romans 8 shifts everything. Romans 8 shifts everything. There is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. The law of the Spirit of life has set you free. Let me say that. It's important. The law of the Spirit of life has set you free. I'm big in the verb tense. Has set is a past tense verb. So you're free. The law of the Spirit of life has set you free. And that's just the truth here. You're not in the flesh. You're not in the flesh. You're in the Spirit. So now Paul reveals the answer. It's not try harder. It's not manage yourself better. It's change your source. It's change your source. Because the issue was never your identity, because your divinity is your identity that I've been teaching for years. The issue was what you were living from. The issue was what you were living from. Living from self produces. Living from self produces Romans 7, frustration, effort, struggle. Living from the Spirit produces Romans 8, life, peace, and freedom. So the real battle is not inside of you. The real battle is outside of you. Even though you think it is, it's what you're living from, self or the Spirit. Self or the Spirit. And this is exactly what Jesus came to reveal. The kingdom of life where you don't live from yourself anymore, but from the Father. So Romans 6, 7, and 8 are not teaching you to fight yourself. It's not teaching you to fight yourself. They're teaching you to stop living from yourself. It's teaching you to stop living from yourself. And when your source changes, everything changes. Let me say that again. When your source changes, everything changes. Transformation happens naturally. So maybe you're not stuck. Maybe you're just being living from the wrong source. So you're just maybe not stuck, but perhaps you're just living from the wrong source. If you need a little help to sort this out, as my English friends would say, let's do a WhatsApp or do anything to communicate with each other. Uh, I use whatever's necessary to communicate the truth here. So YouTube is my favorite, quite frankly. So we can do anything you want to do. That we can sit down and, like I say, sort it out, as my English friends would say, and maybe get some clarification, because that can help us really understand what this lesson is about that Paul is teaching you. It's really clarity on who we are, who we have always been, and shall always be. We're one with Father. A conception on the firm of the Amen. Light can be observed through special equipment. We became the light of the world, a light being. And about 8 months later, we arrived here on this earth from my mother's womb with flesh on. So really, we're spirits with flesh. I've been teaching this now for years. It doesn't go over very well because people are still religious minded, and they'll quote the things from the Bible that will say that's not true. But the fact of the matter is, this is truth before there's ever a Bible, before there's ever scrolls, before there was any preacher or teacher or any kind of guru. This is just the truth that happens in Genesis, I think 18. It just that's the truth of the matter. We're light beings with flesh on. We came in this world by the order of God and believe it. Believe it when we read to lay it down according to the mandates of God. This is Dr. Cecil Cochran. If you need a little time to sort this out, then contact me at Dr. Cecil at teachtruth.net. Dr. Cecil at teachtruth.net. And maybe we can clarify this just a little bit. It won't cost you anything. Maybe we both can learn something from each other. I'm always open to learn. What about you? But I always end everything by saying just be blessed, friends. Why? Well, because you already are, according to Ephesians 1:3. So I say just be blessed because you already are. Bye bye now.